And that's it. We've now gone through all of the content from this introduction to qualitative data collection and analysis. What I'm going to do over the next couple of slides is just bring all of that to a bit of a summary, highlight some of the key learnings, and then just provide some additional contact details if you do want to get in touch with any of the team thereafter. This probably isn't going to take 5 minutes, it might only take a couple, but this is just to say to bring all of the training to a little bit of a conclusion. These are some of the main things then that we've really covered off throughout this training session. We've highlighted that qualitative research can both sit alongside and independently to quantitative research. It really does enable us to understand more of the how and the why as to I suppose how and why your intervention or how and why your program has worked. If you've got your quantitative results and all of that data there, using some additional qualitative evaluation will help you to explain, I suppose, why you might be seeing some of the patterns that you are seeing, or it might help to explain why your project has or hasn't been as, say, successful as you anticipated it being. So it really is a very, very valuable approach to have to sit alongside of, or as I said, independent to quantitative research. So when we talk about getting inside the black box, it's understanding, it's lifting up the engine on the car, and it's understanding what's inside, how does it all work, and how can we maybe improve things in the future going forward. So it's a really useful evaluation approach to take to understanding the process of your project. What we've also done throughout this training is we've highlighted a number of different both data collection methods and data analysis methods that can be then used to really help to answer very specific questions within certain timelines and to different degrees of expertise. So we've talked about the use of interviews, we've talked about when they're appropriate, when they might not be appropriate, when focus groups might be more appropriate. We've also then talked about different types of analysis such as thematic analysis or framework analysis, and we've talked about those different ways of capturing and recording data as well. John had a really good session on how to then report qualitative findings and what they might look like if you're either reporting that back to a funder or you're reporting it back internally, just to highlight some of the key learnings. Equally, you might then want to take this to the next level, which might be, say, to try and get it published in an academic journal. And if that was something that you're wanting to do, you might want to, from the outset, consult with or speak with somebody at a university who can maybe just provide an additional bit of guidance on how to make those methods more robust so that when it comes to being peer reviewed, it does stand a good chance of getting accepted for publication. I suppose one of the benefits of getting something published, or maybe getting it in a nice external facing document, is that other people in other areas can really learn about what you've done and what's worked and what hasn't worked. And so you can start to then filter out those learning much broader than, if you like, your local area. And the final thing that I just want to highlight here is, and this is also mentioned at the very beginning, is that these slides and the handouts and the tasks, they can be used in the future. So if you have new members of staff starting with your organisation, these can then be used, if you like, to give them a bit of an introduction to qualitative evaluation. Equally, they can become more of a reference tool for yourselves, so that if, as you're planning a qualitative evaluation or a qualitative evaluation alongside some quantitative work, you can then go back to these slides and hopefully just go to the sections that you feel like you need a refresher on or you need to top up on. And then again, hopefully this will provide you with the information that you need in order to be able to undertake some of that qualitative evaluation. Please do feel free to get in touch with any of the team with regards to any queries that you might have. We might not necessarily be able to answer them all, and we probably won't be able to be involved in all of the projects, but it is worth getting in touch with, as I said earlier, with colleagues from universities who might just be able to help you address some of the questions that you might have. Hopefully, just to bring this to a close, this should no longer be a scenario which you witness. Hopefully you shouldn't, from a qualitative point of view, be asking people on a scale of 1 to 10 how they feel. It's about getting under the skin, understanding why somebody might be feeling the way that they are or experiencing what they are. And so, as this demonstrates, a quantitative approach isn't always the best means of answering some of your questions. So just finally, on this last slide, I just wanted to provide our contact details again for this training session. You've got my contact details, Tracy's, John's and Andrew's. If you do have any questions about this specific content, please get in touch with us. And equally, just before we really do wrap it up, this is, as I said, a very new way for us of delivering training. We usually do all of this in a face-to-face type format. So if you do have any comments or any queries, please get in touch with us. We're very keen to try and refine these resources as much as we can. We are at the moment also working from home, and so we know there are ways in which we would be able to improve this in the future. So last thing, just a big thank you for sticking with this training. Hopefully you found it useful, and hopefully it informs some of your evaluation in the future. Thank you.